Look, folks, I'm not attempting to be critical. I'm not trying to be critical here, I assure you. The warnings won't go away, though. Warnings that the whole cryptocurrency market will continue to decline. A bear market is starting for Bitcoin. In particular, XRP issues cautions for a number of chart animals, including ones that I follow rather frequently. It is true that XRP will decline. All of this is taking place on a day when the market has been genuinely green. Thus, I agree with the majority of you. My thought is, hey, let's just take a little breather. Be grateful for lush days like today. Everything was up, and while I am aware that most things haven't gone crazy, some coins like Zcash in particular have seen significant junked value today. As I write this, I believe it has somewhat retreated, but overall it has been a really successful day. I'll also tell you this. Even if the analysts who predict a pullback turn out to be right, I remain utterly unconvinced that we are about to enter a bear market. All right, it's okay even if XRP does decline somewhat. As I keep highlighting on my channel, it will require much more. The macro factors simply do not support the idea that we are about to enter a bear market. Therefore, it will take much more to persuade me of that. I simply don't believe it. And it's okay if I'm mistaken. I'm a person. I may be mistaken, but I'm only being honest with you. I do not believe that to be true. I am fully aware that a bear market will eventually occur. To be honest, I don't believe that moment has come. No, I don't. I will thus go over some viewpoints from analysts who are pessimistic in their leanings and who are saying, hey, things are looking a bit concerning out here. Well, to be honest, I'm going to argue against some of that on a technical basis. However, I must say that you guys are intelligent. Out there, you are free to choose for yourself. I would like to share my thoughts with you, but I would also like to present you with a range of perspectives. I'll also be sharing a lot of good viewpoints with you. The most of that will be saved for later in the video. Well, however, nearly all of the analysts I've been following for a while still firmly believe that the greatest days are when P is 2I31. The current price of Bitcoin is 102,263. Therefore, it's true that there has been some volatility today. The XRP 24-hour chart is available here. A 24-hour low of 2.16 and a 24-hour high of 236 is sort of crazy to behold. That represents a 20-cent swing, which is roughly what XRP has been trading at for the most of the time I've owned it. Still, there are moments when I look at that as such. Furthermore, I think that if enough time passes in a single day, XRP will trade across a range of several dollars, and that will simply be the norm. As of right now, it's common to see XRP fluctuate between 20, 30, 40, and 50 cents, some on more extreme occasions. Even while that occurs frequently now, a 20-cent purchase is growing increasingly typical in this area. However, I am convinced that you will witness a trade in a range of dollars in the future, exactly as that is currently common. And the traders back in 2013, 2014, and 2015, when it would fluctuate by, say, half a penny. How many of them would even accept this as fact in 2025 is beyond me. Since 2014 was the year when it had the largest pump in the past. For a brief while, it went from about half a penny to 6 cents, and then it dropped down to around half a penny. That was a very brief lifter, but if they could have predicted it, XRP is actually at its highest point ever in 2025, at $3.65, even after an SEC onslaught, and that's prior to the current market cycle's blow-off. Many of those holders, in my opinion, would be feeling vindicated at the moment and saying, yeah, okay. According to LiveCoin Watch, Bitcoin reached a 24-hour high of $103,926 and a 24-hour low of $99,587. You should read this post. It is from this morning. This comes from Swissblock, a startup analytics company. It is 8 a.m. and they wrote here, there is still pressure to sell. The risk-off signal keeps rising, indicating that we're not yet done with Bitcoin, even though it's still above $100,000. Short-term downward pressure may increase if selling intensity doesn't decrease quickly. This is a bit of an exclamation point from Swissblock's on-chain analytics. The blockchain backer also has this, I guess. You have the whole market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies minus the top 10. That's simply altcoins, isn't it? And as you can see, we're currently on the right. Additionally, with XRP, the chart on the left shows the entire market gap for altcoins. Therefore, he is comparing these charts despite the fact that they do not show the same asset or assets because of the configuration that is displayed here. After skimming the highs and then descending from the post-liquidation range, he provided a historical example of a relief rally on the left. The current price behavior of XRP is seen on the right. Simply keep a watch on it. All right. It's fair to bring this up, and while he's not predicting that XRP would plummet, he has observed similar chart patterns in the past. At the very least, I believe it's fair to say that he's implying that there's a plausible chance that, yeah, there's a relief rally here, but it could definitely turn out negatively, as was the case with others on this chart. This chart on the left represents it, or it is the others chart. We'll see if that occurs, I guess. To be honest, I have a few more instances to share with you. There are other XRP analysts who firmly believe that something similar will transpire. Furthermore, there are more than one or two analysts involved. Although I'll just mention a handful in this video, many of the analysts I follow believe that XRP will decrease significantly. The good news is that XRP is likely to climb higher this cycle, though I'm not sure if the blockchain backers still believe so. I'm not sure if I've heard everything he said. Quite recently, I am aware of his more pessimistic outlook. He's been quite explicit about that. Even while some of the other analysts I follow are predicting that XRP would likely decline, they still think it will soar higher and reach yet another all-time high and interface melting price discovery. Take it for what it is then. Please pardon me. The blockchain backer then provides another one. Just over different time periods, these three charts on the left and right add up to this. We are currently in the one on the left. These figures show the total market capitalization of cryptocurrencies, excluding altcoins like Bitcoin and Ethereum. The bulk of today's price motion is occurring outside of the top 20, with the total altcoin market caps being slightly influenced, he continued. This is an evident dynamic at play. Market caps advise caution, but it's unclear if that should excite or frighten you. And it's evident that the blockchain supporters are a little more worried, and he's been explaining for, yes, more than a month. How much time has passed? Yes, 6 weeks have passed. There are some significant worries and a more pessimistic outlook. At least a lot of it is because he has previously expressed minority positions and been right, even though that is a minority viewpoint among the experts I follow. Therefore, I believe it's worthwhile to hear. And once more, you are intelligent individuals. I admire your intelligence. I will simply lay out this information here. After that, I do some constructive things in the video, so you may make your own judgment. The same as I am. I'm simply an ordinary guy. I am not a finance guy, sort of. However, if you're a person, you must do this in life. Most of the time, you won't be an expert. Therefore, if you're intelligent, you listen to several points of view, and then decide for yourself which argument is stronger. And the arguments that suggest that the bull market is still going strong, even if we move to the downside, are, in my opinion, the strongest. And no one can be certain. But you folks are intelligent enough to draw your own logical conclusions, and that's where my conviction resides. And, there will be people who are correct and people who are incorrect about this. And together we will find out. However, I continue to think that the number will eventually rise. And a lot of time passes, even if it's years and the markets rebound, even if we enter a bear market, which I don't think is likely. I do not provide financial advice. Nothing I say should cause you to buy or sell anything, right? That's a really awful concept. I appreciate you watching.